My name is Linda McKee, and I'm Executive Dean for the Faculty of Social Science and Public Policy and Professor of Social and Public Policy. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's lecture and also to introduce Michelle. But before I go in to introduce Michelle, I'd just like to give a brief history of the lecture, because obviously we're here tonight on behalf of the Institute of Gerontology and in memory of David Hobman. So the Institute of Gerontology was founded in 1986 as the Age Concern Institute of Gerontology. And that is the link to David, who was really at the forefront of supporting the development. Now, the Institute, it's a multidisciplinary research and teaching institute dedicated to the study of aging and later life, something relevant to us all now and certainly in the future. Now, it was the brainchild of Jonathan Barker, joint head of Age Concern Research Unit, and Professor Tony Warnes, then reader in geography at King's College London. And I think it's just great to see from the origins there was that multidisciplinary input and development. So they established the Institute with the enthusiastic support of David Hobman, CBE, and then Director of Age Concern England. And he was also the founding chairman of Age Concern. And so tonight's lecture, the annual lecture, is named in his memory. So this evening, we're also supported by our collaboration with the Gateway to Global Aging Data at the University of Southern California. And I'll just ask David Knapp if you'd like to stand up and just do a wave. Because David, in addition to wave, if you'd like to stand up, the Institute of Gerontology, beat a path to them over drinks, seeking collaborations. But in the last 2 days, you've actually been working on key elements of the work of the Gateway to Global Aging Data. And this is a project that's aiming to harmonize the longitudinal aging surveys. And over the past 2 decades, the initiative has harmonized 18 studies in 45 countries, including the English longitudinal study of aging, health, and retirement. And you've also established many other initiatives, including exploring the impacts of health, social care, and retirement policies on various outcomes, and again, based on longitudinal data. So you've actually got various new projects which are also exploring dementia and looking at data in that area. And I know that David and Wei would be keen to talk to colleagues in the drinks reception later. And colleagues here have also been involved in a 2-day workshop on these issues. So great to bring it all together and consolidate. Now, Michelle sat here and waited very patiently, so thank you, Michelle, a bit of extended introduction. And it's lovely to see Michelle, 15 months from we last met, actually, and lovely to see you again. And you're now 4 years, actually, as Director General of Adult Social Care. And you're going to present a lecture tonight on new ways to support older people, the role of technology in social care. Now, I hope I'm not giving anything away to say that the lecture will be published on gov.uk. And this is just a little bit of a background. And you probably likely are familiar with some of this, but yeah, let's get the technology in. We know the population's getting older. We know increasingly we're drawing on care and support, and that need is going to double in the next 20 years. But the nature of that support is changing too. And I think, as we know, we've got the spending review about to be announced, but also we live in a time of uncertainty. And we are seeing the defence review, and we're seeing the shift, I think, in support across welfare. So mindful of that, we do need to address technology and the potential implications for care. Now, that could be from sensors to detect falls, to clocks that provide reminders, and devices that manage medication. I have to say, I like any and all of those now. Even the way, and maybe that's the thing, you know, if you get it into the generation below, maybe we take it with us. Even the way care records are managed is being revolutionised, with 84% of people drawing on formal care now benefiting from digitised records. And Michelle, you described this as a bit of a quiet revolution, and it's great to see that figure of 84%. So in this lecture, Michelle is going to consider the implications of these changes, addressing key questions about the role of technology in social care, its impact on the care workforce, and how formal care services should integrate with the NHS, local communities, and families to provide more effective support. Now, there'll be 15 minutes for questions, so please get ready with the questions, and any we can't take in the 15 minutes, there is the drinks reception after. So, Michelle, you've waited patiently, and I'm now going to hand over to yourself, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is really, really lovely to see you all here tonight, and it's really lovely to be delivering this lecture. And it's a particular privilege to speak to you all at a time of real transformation in adult social care. I want to begin with maybe something that's obvious, but always, in my view, is worth reiterating, which is to look at what actually is adult social care as we define it in England. Because unlike the NHS, it's not something that everyone has direct experience of. Too often, adult social care is seen as just care homes for older people. But it is so much broader than that. Adult social care supports people of all ages, including working-age adults with learning disabilities. In fact, local authorities in England spend more on working-age adults than they do on older people. And it also includes support for unpaid carers, often family members who provide vital support to loved ones. There are almost 5 million unpaid carers in the UK. Adult social care is like the NHS in having a very large workforce with 1.7 million people who currently work in adult social care. In fact, that is larger than the NHS. It's larger than the NHS. It's larger than construction, transport, or the food and drink industries. It's absolutely enormous, but I'm not sure that is very often recognised. It's unlike the NHS in this country. It is generally not free at the point of use. It is heavily means tested, something that can come as a shock to those who need it at a time of crisis. And in that way, it is more like a benefit than a public service. It's also, and this is really important as we think about sort of transformation, it's also not a national service like the NHS. It's run by local authorities who commission from around 18,000, mostly private voluntary sector, often very small providers. So that's what adult social care is. But today I want to talk about what adult social care can be, what it looks like when it's done well. When we get adult social care right, the benefits ripple far beyond the individual. When individuals receive the right care and support, they can lead a life with greater choice, control, and independence. Those words are often used, but they have a real meaning. And when you see people who are experiencing that, you can really feel it. In this way, adult social care not only supports those who draw on care, but also strengthens families and communities. So, in the rest of my remarks today, I want to explore 4 key areas. First, I want to explain why new methods are necessary. I mean, it's the burning platform question, really. The challenges facing adult social care, such as rising demand, Linda mentioned this, rising demand, increasing costs, mean that doing nothing is not an option. But we must also be aware that expectations are changing too. Older people are increasingly more comfortable using technology, and this is an opportunity we should all grasp. Second, I want to highlight that there has already been a transformation in how we are supporting people in the face of these challenges and opportunities. Linda stole my punchline of a quiet revolution in digital transformation, but in my view, there is a quiet revolution in digital transformation, which is already reshaping care, supported by the government, and I want to showcase some of the examples of this. Third, I want to build on this great progress to think about what the ambitious agenda is for the future. I want to discuss the technological advances happening now and how that could take us in the future to a fully digitised adult social care sector that harnesses technology and data to deliver the sort of personalised, preventative and proactive care and support that we all look for. And finally, I want to talk about the role that we must all play, because to truly unlock the potential of technology in adult social care, we need every part of the system. So central government, that's where I work, local authorities, providers, innovators, academics, researchers, communities, all pulling in the same direction, all playing their part, doing different roles, but pulling in the same direction. So I'm going to come, let's see if these slides. Yeah, so this is my first issue. Why do we need new ways to support older people? Well, as we look to the future of adult social care, one thing is clear. Maintaining the status quo is not an option. The challenges facing the sector are significant and growing: rising demand, increasing costs, a workforce under immense pressure. All these things have created a system that is stretched to its limits. And these pressures are only set to intensify as our population ages. In England, the number of people aged 50 and over is projected to increase by nearly 20% over the next 2 decades. And then, thanks to wonderful improvements in medicine and reductions in infant mortality, there are more people living with a learning disability, and these individuals have a unique set of needs once they reach old age. So whilst we should celebrate the population living longer, this does have wide-ranging implications for adult social care, as the number of people drawing on care and support is expected to double. And at the same time, many people already rely on unpaid carers. These are family members and friends who provide vital support, often at great personal cost. And as demand grows, so too will the pressure on these informal support networks. While I've been doing my job, some of the most moving meetings I have had have been with family carers, particularly during COVID, when they were just at their wits' end, and sort of just so moving to hear their stories. However, it's not just about demographics and demand. Expectations are changing too. So, as Linda said, today's older people are increasingly comfortable using technology in their daily lives. I'm sure people came to this lecture happily using Google Maps to find the location. Some of you probably use digital tools I'm not familiar with to conduct complex analyses as part of your research. Whether it's online banking, shopping, or managing appointments, digital tools are becoming second nature. And as other sectors embrace technology, people rightly expect the same from their public services. We're already seeing this shift in healthcare. For example, even 2 years ago, pensioners were the most active users of the NHS app. That surprised me, that stat, showing that older adults are not only willing, but eager to engage with digital health tools. Adult social care must keep up. And this goes beyond people drawing on digital services. We can also use technology and data to empower people to take their well-being into their hands. For example, it's becoming increasingly normal for people to use apps on their phones or wearables like smartwatches to track and manage their health and well-being. Of course, not all older people have the awareness, skills or infrastructure to use the internet and technologies. In government, we're acutely aware of that, and we have a digital inclusion action plan to sort of deal with this issue. But as generations age, the people who make up our older generation will increasingly think of digital as the default. And then there's the workforce. Recruitment and retention remain major challenges in this country as across the world, with high turnover rates and growing demand for skilled staff. We need to make care roles more rewarding, more sustainable, and more focused on what matters most, the human connection. That's why people come into care, and high-quality support. It's also important to recognise that the impact of supporting older people extends far beyond an individual's experience of adult social care. When we invest in care technologies and data capabilities that help people stay well, we also reduce pressure on the wider health and care system. So, for example, and I'll talk more about this later, but for example, tech and data-enabled proactive care can help prevent common but serious issues like falls and urinary tract infections. These are not only distressing for individuals, but also major drivers of hospital admissions. By preventing avoidable health conditions, we can help reduce waiting times for GP appointments, urgent and emergency visits, elective procedures, freeing up capacity across the NHS. So, to conclude this bit of my talk, I would suggest there really is a burning platform, a real need to find new ways to support older people. So digital transformation is no longer just an ambition. It is becoming a reality that is reshaping how care and support is delivered. In my view, there has been a quiet revolution. The adult social care sector has led the way, and the department, the government, has built on this momentum and is encouraging further progress. I've seen this revolution firsthand. A few years ago, when I was fairly new in my role, I visited a care home where staff were keeping meticulous handwritten records, pages and pages of notes, carefully filed in binders. If you just think about how many interactions there are with any one individual on any one day, the food they've had, the medicine they've had, just endless, beautifully kept, beautifully written notes. It was a testament to the dedication of the care workers, but obviously not the most efficient way to support delivery. The pandemic brought this into sharp focus. Without digital infrastructure, it was harder to understand what was happening, or almost impossible to understand what was happening on the ground, and harder still for the department to respond. At the outset of COVID, there was a lack of data for decision-making or oversight, which limited the department's ability to support the sector. One of the actions we took in response was creating a single centralised capacity tracker, sort of tool essentially, among the 18,000 care providers. The deal was we gave them money to support them during the pandemic, and they had to fill in capacity tracker on a weekly basis. This enabled key actors across the system to share daily critical information about care home vacancies, workforce data, other relevant data, providing valuable insights to support providers in dealing with the crisis. If we fast forward to where things are now, in contrast to my visit a few years ago with the handwritten notes, staff are now using tablets and phones to access care plans, update records, monitor well-being in real time. Technology isn't just present, it's enabling better, more personalised care and support. And it's freeing up staff to do what they do best, which is care. The advances in data digitisation and technology in adult social care during this extremely tough and challenging period are amazing. Just 3 years ago, the majority of care providers were still using paper records. The proportion of care providers using digital social care records had only been increasing by around 3% a year. That was despite the fact that using digital records has huge benefits for care providers and the people they support. They free up valuable staff time, saving at least 20 minutes per care worker per shift, because the care worker doesn't have to take copious notes at the end of the shift. They can just be pressing a button on their iPhone as they work. They enable more person-centred care by making it easier for staff to quickly understand a person's care preferences and needs. They support safer care as well, because digital care records are less likely to contain errors or be lost, and because they make it much easier for managers to spot issues. I mean, managers I've talked to about this, just sort of so enthusiastic. I mean, the staff are too, but the managers too, because they make it easier for managers to spot issues. Many digital social care record solutions also allow families to see updates about their loved one's care in real time, providing them with much valued reassurance, especially for those who live far away or cannot visit frequently. And after years of slow progress, over the last 3 years, the rate of adoption has jumped up, but as I said before, 3% a year, that's where we were. It's now, in the last 3 years, it's been roughly 10% switching to digital records each year. And now over 3/4 of registered providers are using them, covering over 85% of people who draw on adult social care. So what changed? Well, the government-funded Digitising Social Care programme took 4 key steps to drive up digital record adoption. It set standards for digital social care records and created a list of solutions that had been assured against those standards. This helped providers to confidently choose solutions that were fit for purpose and future-proofed. More standards were added over time, and suppliers had to meet these within the required time frame to stay on the list. This kept the digital social care record market vibrant and competitive. We then match-funded care providers' implementation costs so that the upfront costs weren't a barrier. But care providers had enough skin in the game to ensure they were making sustainable purchasing decisions. Providers could only access this funding for solutions on the assured supplier list. This ensured that providers chose solutions which met important cybersecurity and data standards, laying the foundations for a secure system of interoperable digital records, because as I'll come on to, the future lies in interoperability with the health system. We also produced guidance and funded implementation support staff based in NHS integrated care systems to help providers choose solutions that made sense for them and to guide them in what can otherwise seem a bit of a daunting process in terms of implementing digital records. And finally, we developed tools to support care providers in developing their staff's digital confidence and capability. I think everyone's been really surprised actually about how the staff has just taken to this. People thought that a lot of care workers are actually sort of coming to the end of their careers. They thought that they would sort of not be up for this change, but quite to the contrary, they've relished it. As I've highlighted, care providers really ran with this. I'm going to show you, I hope, how care staff in Somerset have been finding using digital social care records.
This is just so clean and easy. You know, you can download all of the information into a PDF and you can share information really efficiently. So it's got brilliant auditing tools on it and reports. So we do obviously we regular auditing in the home, just things like our daily walk round. You can go in and check in on making sure that certain tasks that have been set have been done. You can audit falls risks. You can see whether if there's patterns with people, if they're falling on certain days, or if there's other issues that we need to be looking at. It's fabulous. I love it, and yeah, it's made our life a lot better here, a lot easier.
It gives us more time to spend with our residents. So even though we ask them filling it out, some of them do like to help us fill it out. Could we physically show them what we're doing, what it's for, and they also have an input on how we word it as well sometimes.
I think it saves time, rather than having to sit down and write something out. You can just kind of click on the tiles, and rather than having to write a sentence like I got some redress today and blah blah, like you can just click on a tile, change clothes or wet clothes. So yeah, it's really easy. You can see what jobs have been done and what jobs haven't been done.
And last question, is there anything that you think you'd tell someone who's maybe on the fence about taking up a digital social care record?
Yeah, just do it. Just absolutely do it. It will make, from the manager's point of view, it helps you so much. It helps you with all the things that you need to be doing, which is so important for our regulators, around governance and monitoring. It's absolutely brilliant for the residents in the sense that it is really person-centred to that individual. There's really easy icons on it for people who might be, they might have dyslexia. We've got a few staff with dyslexia and find it really helpful for them. So, and you capture those moments that happen all throughout the day rather than one person writing the note in a Cardex that may not have all the information. In PCS, it's all there. It's the best thing we ever did, it really is, and I would really strongly recommend it to anybody.
So I'm just so, you've seen that's a pretty good advert for digital care records, and I'm so pleased that the, oh gosh, I'm not sure that's where I'm meant to be next. Hang on, no, okay. I'm so pleased that the proportion of care providers with digital records has gone up so much, and it's also really exciting that there are now 19 solutions on the assured suppliers list. So to give just one example of the important standards these solutions meet, the GP Connect standard means that these solutions provide care provider staff with appropriate and secure access to core information held in an individual's GP medical record, supporting the quality and safety of care. The thriving market and rapid rate of adoption illustrate the adaptability of suppliers and care providers in embracing the potential of digital transformation. Actually, the adult social care sector has a surprising advantage here. Since the sector was still largely paper-based just a few years ago, government was effectively working with a greenfield site. We didn't have to work around widespread, sort of outdated, different systems. The sector could build up sensibly from the start, having learnt many lessons from the challenges of digitisation in health. We often hear about how countries like Kenya, say, have leapfrogged traditional banking infrastructure, with much of their population adopting mobile-based financial services without having had a traditional bank account first. In the same way, many care providers have jumped straight to modern, cloud-based, mobile-friendly digital records. And you can see what a difference this is making to individuals. But it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the benefits of this digital transformation. Digital social care records contain a huge amount of information about a person's care, including their care needs, what's important to them, all the care they received. A care home resident might have over 50 care interactions recorded daily. I mean, you got a hint of that from that video. Just imagine how useful this information could be if the right people could access it at the right time. So we're now building on the successful rollout of digital social care records by investing in national data infrastructure for care. This is laying the foundations for health and care professionals to have real-time visibility of information about people's health and care in a consistent way across the country. There's lots of work to do here, but it would make a huge difference. If staff had seamless access to health and care data, then multidisciplinary neighbourhood teams could provide more joined-up care. Hospital care staff could provide safer care to people who draw on adult social care. I mean, I find it really shocking when you hear that if someone goes from a care home into hospital, often it's the family who has to say what was the last medication that person had. You know, but it shouldn't be like that, and hopefully it won't be like that. And it would also mean that people and families no longer have to repeat their stories to every new professional they meet. During a recent visit to Liverpool, my team saw how data was used to enable faster provision of reablement or rehabilitation services to reduce waiting times and offer an overall faster journey for people to get home. It's obviously what everyone wants. This meant services like their specialised reablement centre had access to real-time intelligence to help provide the most joined-up support possible. In the last 12 months alone, there in Liverpool, the time taken for a person to go home from one of the reablement centres has reduced by just under a week, meaning they have more capacity to offer the service to more people. And obviously, people always recover best at home, so it's just a win-win all round. That is the transformative potential of digital and data. To build towards this future, the government has set an ambition for all care providers to be fully digitised and for staff to have access to essential medical information by the end of this Parliament. And it isn't just care providers who are digitising. Local authorities are embracing this shift too, with several modernising their adult social care front door, the first crucial point of contact for local residents, by improving websites and integrating digital tools. Councils like Dorset and Lambeth, Redbridge, Bristol, Kent, they're leading the way, enhancing accessibility, integrating with health services, empowering residents to manage their own care online. It means people can find the right support earlier, make more informed choices, and ultimately have better outcomes. And we're also seeing fantastic efforts to streamline back office processes. And this matters so much because every public service has got to become more productive. We can't just everyone knows you can't just keep pouring more money in and raising taxes, etc. So everyone's got to become more productive. Take Wigan Council, for example. Their adult social care team is working to automate care needs assessments and roll out AI chatbots that offer instant support to people seeking information about adult social care. Similarly, several local authorities are trialling the use of AI-powered technology to transcribe and summarise care assessments in real time. It's helping to free up social workers' time so they can focus on being present during care conversations, with Swindon Council citing a 60% reduction in time spent on administrative tasks. It's smart and efficient and is making a real difference. So I'm now going to come on to this. Sorry, I got that a bit too quickly. Opportunities for supporting older people in new ways. So we've seen how adaptable and innovative the adult social care sector can be when it comes to embracing digital solutions. But that's just the start, and we want to help take it even further. Looking ahead, our ambition is clear: a fully digitised adult social care sector that harnesses technology and data to deliver personalised, preventative and proactive care and support. A system where data flows seamlessly to support decision-making, identify risks early, ensure that every person receives the right care in the right place at the right time. Easy to say, hard to do. The government has set up an independent commission led by Baroness Louise Casey that's going to be the once-in-a-generation reform for adult social care. But no matter what Baroness Casey recommends, it's clear that we're going to need the right digital foundations in place. By harnessing the potential of digital innovation, we can ensure that older people can live more independently, supported by technology that helps them stay safe, connected, and in control. Family members and friends can stay informed. Care workers and social workers can spend less time on admin and more time on face-to-face support. And when people do need hospital care, digitisation can play a vital role, as I've been saying, in helping them return home safely and quickly. Seamless information sharing between hospitals and care providers will ensure that the right support is in place from day one, reducing delays in hospital discharge, preventing readmissions, and helping people regain their independence sooner. One of the most exciting areas of progress is in supporting people to live independently at home. Across the country, we're seeing a range of technologies being adopted, some by individuals and families themselves, and others through formal care services. In many cases, people are using everyday consumer technology to stay safe and well at home. Smart speakers and voice-activated assistants are helping disabled people control their lights, doors, and heating without needing to wait for a carer to help them. Smartphones can provide medication reminders or help people stay connected with loved ones. We're also seeing more advanced technologies being used, such as AI-enabled and sensor-based systems that can detect changes in someone's routine. These tools can alert family members or care staff to potential issues early, helping to prevent crises before they happen. So a smart plug in a kettle could send a notification if someone who normally makes a cup of coffee at 7:30 a.m. hasn't yet used it, and they might be stuck on the floor after a fall. Similarly, data from a smart oven that is increasingly being left on for long periods of time could indicate increasing forgetfulness. Door sensors can pick up increased nighttime activity, which might mean someone has a urinary tract infection, or that someone's spending longer inside, which might indicate loneliness and the onset of depression. I think falls detection and prevention is an area that is particularly exciting. I'm sure many of us know someone who forgets to wear their pendant alarm, which they're meant to press if they fall and need help. New sensor-based technologies can detect falls without the need for a wearable pendant, enabling faster response, and also reduces the need for care home staff to check on people throughout the night. I was really shocked when I found out that in a standard care home, people will go and essentially disturb the person every couple of hours to check they're okay, but obviously that disturbs their sleep. This way, they can just be monitored remotely, so people get a better night's sleep and also further reduces their risk of falling. Some of these technologies also detect when a person is doing something that often leads to a fall and intervenes to prevent it. For example, automatically switching on the light as someone gets out of bed, or calling a carer to assist a person heading towards the bathroom. Emerging evidence suggests this kind of technology can reduce falls in care homes by over a half. And the benefits don't just stop there. These game-changing technologies can also help to determine whether a fall was serious enough to require an ambulance, reducing unnecessary emergency calls and easing the burden on urgent care services. This is a huge step forward. And I'm going to try another video, which is an ITV News report bringing this technology to life.
Now, a story of technology, which is hard to believe. They're called talking lamps, and they can detect falls and can even, it's said, prevent them from happening in the first place. They're being rolled out after a successful trial in Cumbria.
At the care home near Kendal, where the AI technology was tested, staff say that the number of falls have dropped by more than 80%.
The NHS is now introducing it to more care homes in the area. Hannah McNulty has the story.
Well, I was born in Coventry.
Stuart is a resident at Heartland House Care Home in Milnthorpe. He loves talking about his days as a professional rugby player, and he's also a big fan of his new ceiling lamp.
When it was installed, I thought it was the safest thing that's happened, because if you have a fall, it just says, "Lay still, help is coming." I don't have to crawl everywhere and find a button to press.
The lamps monitor the rooms 24/7. If someone falls, it detects it. The person is always shown as a stick figure. If they don't get up after 30 seconds, they hear this.
When did you fall?
If they say they need help, or there's no answer at all, the AI lamp sends an alert to an app so staff can respond immediately.
Hi Rob, have you fallen? Help is on the way. Before we had this in place, we had nothing really to detect falls, which was meaning that some of our residents could potentially have hours laid on the floor before being found.
What reduction have you seen in falls in this care home?
Since we've had Nobi installed, we've had an 84% reduction in falls within the home.
Most falls happen at night when people get up to use the toilet. The lamp also detects motion and provides some light. The team behind them say they even help prevent falls in the first place.
We can analyse if somebody does fall. We had a gentleman who was sat in a chair watching TV in the middle of the afternoon with a cup of tea on the table next to him. He leant forward to grab the cup of tea, went past his tipping point, fell onto the chair, onto the floor. Without Nobi, he just fell on the floor. We don't know how he got there. With Nobi, we can go back and analyse those images, see what happened. And this was a real scenario. We simply moved the table 6 inches closer to his chair to reduce that happening again. And it's lots of things like that where we can take actions to prevent further falls.
Are there concerns this could be intrusive?
Absolutely, and we recognise that, right? And we say, look, it is an optical sensor that is taking still images of the room. But what we can do with the power of the light, each light has got its own processor built on board. It's quite a powerful processor. And in live time, it can take you and I out of the image and replace us with a stick figure. So you don't actually see who that person is.
The trial here has been so successful, the NHS has got funding for 500 more.
We've got some money from the Digital Transformation Fund, and what we're going to do now, we're going to roll out, and we're going to be rolling them out into 50 care homes across Lancashire and South Cumbria. We're going to be prioritising those care homes that have the highest levels of falls.
A fall obviously can be minor, people can get up quickly, but they also can be much more serious, can't they, as well?
Absolutely. So in Lancashire and South Cumbria, falls are the biggest reason why people are admitted into hospital from a care home. So in terms of falls, anything we can do to prevent a fall really helps our NHS colleagues in terms of the ambulance visits, A&E visits, and then bed days as well.
The care home sector can struggle to recruit, but those involved in the trial say it's not replacing real people.
Because you have staff scheduled on their particular time on duty, you could visit a resident, shut the door, and something could happen. And under the old, if you like, the old style of care, you might not come back to that for another hour or so, even longer. But what we are doing now is seeing a response that is instant.
Having one of the lamps is optional. 2 residents here have opted out. A family member of a lady with one says it offers her extra peace of mind.
The best thing about them is that she doesn't have to be disturbed in the night. So if she does need to get up, the lights come on and give her the light she needs to move around. But she's not got somebody coming and checking on her regularly through the night, which might disturb her when she doesn't need it.
There is, of course, a cost for the latest in AI technology, but at this care home, it's a price they say is well worth paying. Hannah McNulty, ITV News, Milnthorpe.
Further evidence of the difference that AI can make.
So going beyond falls technology, electronic medication administration records are also proving valuable. These tools reduce medication errors, meaning people are less likely to suffer complications and avoidable trips to their GP or the hospital. We're also using AI beyond the. We're seeing the use of AI beyond using it for falls technology. One example is an AI-driven tool that uses a smart device camera to examine facial expressions and combines this with other indicators to calculate pain scores. This helps improve the identification and management of pain, particularly for people who cannot reliably communicate, such as those living with dementia. This kind of innovation is helping staff deliver more passionate and effective care. And imagine being able to step in before a serious fall changes someone's life. That's what's happening in Norfolk, where AI is being used in people's homes to analyse case notes and identify those most at risk. These AI-powered data insights have enabled joint interventions with other public services tailored to the individual. And the opportunities for AI don't stop there. Researchers at LSE have pioneered the first UK use of machine learning to spot signs of loneliness through care records, finding that 44% of people who draw on care are lonely or socially isolated at their initial assessment. So all these sorts of insights, they can be game-changing, meaning we're not just reacting, but we are preventing. And that is surely the future of adult social care. So now everyone has a role to play. Because as we continue to embrace the transformative potential of technology, we must work together to ensure that the future of adult social care is not only more efficient, but also more human, more inclusive, more empowering for everyone it touches. As you've heard today, we're not starting from scratch. The collective effort of the sector is already driving the quiet revolution. From care homes to councils, from innovators to individuals, we are seeing real momentum, but we can go further. So to truly unlock the potential of technology in adult social care, we need every part of the system to be pulling in the same direction. So we need technology suppliers working hand in hand with older people, care providers and local authorities to co-produce solutions. We need care providers embedding technology into their day-to-day practice, not as an add-on, but as a core part of how they deliver care. Local authorities, we need them to continue to digitise their services and integrate technology into care packages so that support is smarter and more responsive. We need integrated care systems. Those are the local partnerships that bring health and care organisations together, designing pathways that make it the most of digital tools and joined up data, using insights to improve population health and deliver truly integrated care. Something that's pretty hard to do. And we need academics and researchers helping us identify the challenges that technology can solve and rigorously evaluating what works so that we can build an evidence base that drives smarter investment and better outcomes. Sector bodies and voluntary organisations, we need them to play a vital role in helping people understand what technology is available, how it can help, and how to use it confidently and safely. Older people with the right support making the most of technology to stay independent, connected, and in control of their lives. And family members and friends using digital tools to stay informed and help to support their loved ones. So this is not just a government mission, it has to be a shared mission. When we each play our parts, the result is a care system that is not only more sustainable, but more compassionate, more personalised, and more prepared for the future. But there is a role for central government. So what is the role of central government, and specifically the department I work for, the Department of Health and Care? So we hold powerful levers to accelerate the shift from analogue to digital in adult social care. We can fund, regulate, convene, guide, and even build the infrastructure that underpins innovation. But we must also be honest, we don't have unlimited resources. Linda mentioned the spending review that is coming out tomorrow, which will set the resource envelope for the next 3 years. So we must focus our efforts where they matter most and where government is uniquely positioned to make a difference. So through vision and guidance, we can set a clear direction to help everyone in the system, local authorities, care providers, private tech developers. They're always asking us, what is the future? What is the government's vision? So we can work together to prioritise the right innovations. We can establish standards and assurance. In a crowded and fast-moving landscape, people need to know what technology they can trust. Government's role is to help people choose technologies that are safe, effective and reliable. That is why we're working to set new national standards for care technologies and developing our approach in partnership with care providers, tech companies and people who draw on care and support, really building off what we did for the digital care records. Regulation also plays a role where it's necessary, such as where technologies are essential to delivering safe, high-quality care, and we can work with regulators like the Care Quality Commission to ensure that their use is not just encouraged but expected. We can embed learning and development. Technology is only as effective as the people who are using it, which is why we will continue to invest in digital skills and training to help build the confidence and capability required to lead digital transformation across the sector. And we can build central data infrastructure. Rather than asking every local system to solve the same problems in different ways, we're creating national solutions that allow data to be recorded and joined up once and used many times to improve care planning and outcomes. We've seen the benefits of better adult social care data through the capacity tracker for years now, as it's the primary source of adult social care data from registered care providers. In Huddersfield, it has cut back on administration for discharge teams as they can search for suitable care homes for their patients within minutes. In Lancashire, it's made it easier for care services to support families with all that important choice by putting care home information at their fingertips. And we can go further than that by developing new national social care data infrastructure to unlock the full potential of the rich data care staff are already recording in their digital social care records as part of their direct care provision. Increasing health and care staff access to real-time information will help improve the safety and quality of care services. And finally, we need to ensure that funding flows support the system to embrace these opportunities, whether that's through pooled budgets that encourage the NHS and local authorities to collaboratively invest in improvements for the whole health and care system, or innovation funds, or broader investment strategies to help leverage the private sector. We need to align financial incentives with digital transformation, so you don't have the situation where you're expecting a care home to invest in technology, but really the benefit is felt by the NHS, which is sometimes the case. In short, DHSC's, my department's role is not to do everything, but to do the things only government can do. By improving the structures we already have and using our levers more effectively, we can help create an adult social care system that is not only more digital, but more resilient, efficient, and above all, more people-centred. So, I spoke about a care home visit from a few years ago at the start, and then the more recent one that showed how far we've come. And then lately I've been asking myself, what will I see if I visit a care home in 5 or 10 years from now? And the honest answer is, I really don't know, and that is what makes this so exciting. The pace of innovation across adult social care, especially in technology, is extraordinary. Every week brings new ideas, new tools, and new ways of supporting to people to live more independent, connected lives. I feel lucky to have witnessed just a fraction of that progress, and this constant evolution is what gives me hope. I hope it gives all of you hope as well, because it means we're not locked into the status quo. We're building a system that is open to change, driven by creativity, and shaped by the people who use and deliver care. Thank you.